Hello, welcome to today's edition of the Daf 23 Amud B of Temura using Steinsaltz edition. And thank you whoever you're joining me today. So it says, the Gemara concludes, what is it not that this Mishnah states that even according to the opinion of the rabbis? If so, the Mishnah is teaching that even according to the rabbis, an offering designated instead of a lost animal is considered like a lost animal, which contradicts the statement of Rabbi Abba. The Gemara responds, no, it states that only according to the opinion of Rabbi Huda Nasi. The Gemara posed a challenge to the explanation of both Rav Huna and Rabbah, from which we learned in the Mishnah. In the case of one who designates a sin offering and the animal was lost, and he designated another in its stead and sacrificed it, and the first animal was subsequently found, that is a sin offering whose owner achieved atonement with another animal and should be left to die. The Gemara infers the reason that the original animal was left to die is that the second animal was already sacrificed. But if the owner did not sacrifice the second animal before the original animal was found, then the original animal is left to graze. The Mishnah apparently indicates that there is no difference whether he achieves atonement with the sin offering that was lost, and there was no difference whether he achieves atonement with the sin offering that was not lost. It can likewise be inferred from the Mishnah that there is no difference whether he took the animal and sacrificed without consulting the court, and there is no difference whether he did not take the animal and sacrifice it without consulting the court. In all cases, if the owner had not yet achieved atonement, then the remaining animal is left to graze. If so, this is a conclusive refutation of the opinions of both of them, since according to Rav Huna, everyone agrees that an animal is left to die if the owner took one of the animals without consulting the court. And according to Rabbi Abba, everyone agrees that if the owner achieved atonement with the second animal, the lost animal is left to die. The Gemara responds, one should not infer in that manner from the Mishnah. Rather, the Tana of the Mishnah taught a matter that was absolute, i.e. a case where the second animal was sacrificed before the original animal was found, as the lost animal is always left to die. He did not teach a matter that was not absolute, i.e. a matter that depends on some other factor, e.g. whether the owner took the animal without consulting the court, or whether the owner achieved atonement with the lost animal. The Gemara poses another difficulty from that which we learned in the Mishnah. In the case of one who designates money for purchase of his sin offering, and the money was lost, and he designated other money instead, and thereafter the original money was found, he should bring a sin offering from the combination of this original money and that money designated instead, and the remainder shall be allocated for communal gift offerings. The Gemara infers the reason that the remainder is allocated for communal gift offerings is he atones by bringing a sin offering from a combination of this original money and that money designated instead. But if the owner brought a sin offering from one of the two sums of money, he must take the other money and cast it into the Dead Sea. The Mishnah apparently indicates that there is no difference whether he achieved atonement with the money that was lost, and there was no difference whether he achieved atonement with the money that was not lost, and there was no difference whether he took the money and brought the sin offering without consulting the court, and there was no difference whether he did not take the money without consulting the court. In all cases, the other money is cast into the Dead Sea. If so, this is a conclusive refutation of the opinions of both Rav Huna and Rabbi Abba. And Mishnah does not conform to either explanation. The Gemara responds, here too, the Tana taught a matter that was absolute, i.e. a case where the owner achieved atonement with one of the two sums of money, but he did not teach a matter that was not absolute. With regard to designating money for purchasing a sin offering, Rabbi Ami says, in the case of one who designates 2 piles of money as a guarantee. So what does this mean? This term refers to an obligation one takes upon himself in a case he cannot pay a debt, e.g. if the original item set aside for that purpose was lost or stolen. In the case of a vow to sacrifice an offering, one generally accepts responsibility for the offering by saying, it is incumbent upon me to bring such and such an offering. This formation creates an obligation upon the individual, whereas the formulation, this animal is hereby designated as such and such an offering, grants a particular status to the animal rather than an obligation upon the individual. Here the Gemara is referring to another form of guarantee, separating two sums of money for purchase of the offering, so that even if one of the sums becomes lost, the offering can still be purchased with the other sum. If one designates 2 piles of money in order to guarantee that a sin offering will be brought, he uses 1 pile of money for the offering, and the others are allocated for communal gift offering according to the statement of Rabbi Ami, Sefer Avod, Hilchot B'Sulim, Doshin 5:5, so that in the event that one pile is lost, he will purchase a sin offering with the other pile. He achieves atonement with one of them, and the second pile is allocated for communal gift offerings. The Gemara asks, in accordance with whose opinion is the statement? If we say in accordance with the opinion of Rabbi Yehuda Nasi, it's obvious that the second part of money is allocated for communal gift offering. And over here, Nasi says that the surplus money is cast into the sea in a case where one designated the money instead of money that was lost. But if one separated the two streams of money at the same time as a guarantee, over here Nasi concede that the unused money is allocated for gift offering. Rather, you will say that it's according to the opinion of the rabbis. And if so, it is obvious that the unused money is allocated for communal gift offerings due to the following a fortiori inference. Now that the rabbis say that one who designates money to replace money that was lost is not considered like lost money and is not cast into the Dead Sea, is it necessary to teach that the money designated as a guarantee is allocated for communal gift offerings and is not cast into the sea? Rather, it was necessary for Rabbi Ami to teach this halacha according to the opinion of Rabbi Shimon, who holds that whenever the owner achieves a term with another sin offering, the remaining animal is left to die, even if it was initially designated as a guarantee, lest you say that just as Rabbi Shimon does not hold that an animal is left to graze if the owner achieves a term with another animal, he also does not maintain that the unused money is allocated for communal gift offerings. Rabbi Ami teaches that even Rabbi Shimon holds that if one separates additional money as a guarantee, the unused money is allocated for communal gift offerings. The Gemara asks, but how can you say? One might think that Rabbi Shimon does not hold that the unused money is allocated for communal gift offerings. Isn't taught in the Mishnah Shekalim 18a? There are 13 collection horns. Shlosha Asher Shafaros Hayu B'Mikdash. There were 13 containers in the temple, each shaped like a shofar horn. The first was for shekels for the current year, called new shekels, while the second held the old shekels of the previous year. The third box was for money of those obligated to bring a pair of pigeons or doves, as one as a sin offering and one as a burnt offering, i.e. obligatory nest. The fourth box contained the coins of those who wish to bring birds as a voluntary burnt offering. The fifth collection box was for donating money for wood, while the sixth was for money for frankincense. Those who donated gold for the ark cover placed it in the seventh container. The eighth box was for surplus money for sin offerings, i.e. if an individual separated money for a sin offering and some was left over until he purchased the animal, he would place the surplus coin in that box and the money would be allocated for communal gift offerings. The ninth box was for surplus of money from guilt offerings. And the 10th was for surplus money from bird offerings of Zavim and of women after childbirth. And the 11th was for the surplus money from offerings of Nazarites. The 12th box was for surplus from the gift offerings brought by lepers. And the 13th and last box was for voluntary animal burnt offerings. This list is according to the Mishnah Tokli Shekalim 6.5 and the opinion of the rabbis there rather than that of Rabbi Yehuda. The Rambam Sefer Zemanim Hilchos Shekalim 2.2. And the intended use of the funds is written upon each one as follows: new shekels for shekels given for the current year, and old shekels for shekels given belatedly for the previous year. A pair of birds whose funds were used to purchase obligatory bird offerings, e.g. for a woman who gave birth, and fledglings designated for voluntary burnt offerings. Collection horns. There were no collection horns for items not listed here, e.g. obligatory offerings or other voluntary offerings. The reason that it was not possible simply to place money in a collection horn for an obligatory offering, as the owner of such an offering was required to be present and lean on the animal immediately before its sacrifice. As for other voluntary offerings, they were not commonly sacrificed, and the collection horns in the temple were designated only for common items in the Meiri. Wood for the arrangement on the altar, frankincense that accompanied meal offerings, and gold donated for the ark cover. Keenan of the Goris Le'ola. This is referring to pairs of birds sacrificed as sin offerings or burnt offerings in certain circumstances, or as part of the purification ceremony in certain circumstances of ritual impurity. Individuals required to bring these offerings would place money in the horn, and the priest ensured the offerings were brought. Although the priest did not know whose offering they were bringing, their knowledge is not essential, and the individuals could be certain that their offerings had been brought and they had achieved a term in a timely manner. For the arrangement on the altar, and the frankincense that accompanying meal offerings and gold donated for the ark cover. Zahar Lachapores. The relation follows the explanation Tosfot in Yishanim Yoma 55b, so that the gold from this horn was used for coating the chamber of the Holy of Holies, also known as the chamber of the ark cover, as is taught in the Mishnah Shekalim 10b, that the surplus funds from the collection horns are reserved for this purpose. Alternatively, Rashi cites two explanations of the statement. First, if one wished to donate gold for the construction of new vessels for temple maintenance, one would deposit the gold in this horn. Second, if one vowed to donate service vessels to the temple, he would bring gold and deposit in this horn. As it was stated with regard to service vessels, both of Kefori gold Ezra 1:10, Rashi prefers the second interpretation as donation of comfortable wages, meaning directing them a treasure rather than placing the collection home. And the raisins are designated for the purchase of communal gift offerings. And it is taught with regard to that mission that the funds contained in the 600 designated communal gift offerings were used to purchase burnt offerings that come from surplus funds which have been allocated for the purchase of sin offerings or guilt offerings and were not needed for those purposes. Such burnt offerings were brought in the absence of other offerings so the altar would not remain idle. Unlike other burnt offerings, the hides of these offerings were not given to the priests, when they were sold, the money received from the sale was allocated for additional communal gift offerings. This statement by Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Nechemia said to him, and some say Rabbi Shimon, who said to Rabbi Yehuda, he was said the teaching Joad, the high priest had been negated. As is taught in the aforementioned Mishnah, this teaching was taught by Yehuda the high priest. Yehuda the high priest recognized the temple treasury and the method of donating funds for the temple during the reign of King Joash. In the context of those days, the silver of guilt offerings and silver of sin offerings would not be brought to the house of the Lord, but for the priests. In 2 Kings 12:17, this verse cannot be understood literally, as it would be impossible that money set aside for offerings would be given to priests. Well, it's referring to surplus money that had been set aside for guilt offerings and sin offerings that was not needed for those purposes. The third it was used to purchase burnt offerings, and the hides of the burnt offerings were given to the priests. Come to differ with regard to the primary significance of Joash's teaching. Some say that the main point is that the surplus funds from gift offerings, guilt offerings, and sin offerings are used for the purchase of ones of burnt offerings. Another people claim that is innovation was that the hides of these burnt offerings are given to the priests as derived. There is an apparent contradiction in the verse. On the one hand, the verse states it is a guilt offering of Leviticus 5:19, indicating that the medium's offering is eaten by the priest, as is the halacha with regard to all guilt offerings. On the other hand, the same verse concludes, he is only guilty before the Lord, indicating that the entire offering is for God, like a burnt offering. Rather, the verse comes to include the following halacha. With regard to anything that comes from surplus funds designated for sin offerings or guilt offerings, if one separated money for a sin offering or a guilt offering and purchased the offering with extra money left over, and surplus money used to purchase burnt offering which are sacrificed communal gift offerings. Allah is according to the teacher Johadia, the high priest, Ram Sefer the Hilchos Revolution 5:9. Those funds should be used to purchase burnt offerings. The meat of the burnt offerings is entirely for God. The hides are given to the priest, as is the halacha with regard to burnt offerings. The Gemara concludes, apparently Rabbi Shimon does hold that surplus funds were designated for sin offerings, which is designated for sin offerings are allocated for communal gift offerings. The statement of Rabbi Ami is therefore unnecessary, even according to the opinion of Rabbi Shimon. The Gemara responds, it was necessary for Rabbi Ami to teach his halacha, as it might enter your mind today when Rabbi Shimon holds that surplus money was designated for sin offering, created for communal gift offerings. That applies only in the case where the surplus is from one set of money, e.g. one allocated fund to purchase a goat and the price of the goat depreciated, and therefore it is now surplus money that was set aside. Thank you for listening and wish you a very good Shabbos. Bye.